The ultimate formula for success. We all want it, and it's a lot simpler than you may realize. Hi, my name is Bonitatibus, owner and founder of Digital Champions, and this is Let's Grow Together, the show about helping you become the best version of yourself. Today's episode is inspired by one of my favorite people, the legend, Mr. Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn, if you don't know him, he was actually the person who taught Tony Robbins everything that he knows. But what's so amazing is Jim Rohn had a teacher before him named Shof. And so it's interesting to see that progression of these key things to do to be successful. But what's interesting is that these things haven't changed. It goes back years to ancient philosophers, to Marcus Aurelius. These same principles are fundamental. And when we can do these fundamental things, we will be successful. And I've experienced this with myself. And that's why I always thought it was funny when people are like, oh, what's the key? Like, how do you be successful? It's simply following what those before you tell you to do, that have what you have and have done what you've done. And so Jim Rohn has specifically a few 12 core fundamentals that I'm going to go over that he talks about. It's an audio book called The Art of Exceptional Living. It's one of my favorite things to listen to. I listen to it at least once a year, and it's always just inspires me to do more. So the first one is philosophy as a foundation. Jim Rohn says, success is not to be pursued, it is to be attracted by the person you become. And so if you've seen some of the episodes that I've done in the past, I've talked about who it is that we are becoming. But it's having these personal philosophies about who we are, how we want to act, how we want to show up. If we don't have clarity on our philosophies, on who we are and who we want to be, then we won't take the actions to being that person. So it starts with that philosophy for being that person. Number 2, the power of goals. Clear, specific goals are essential for success. And so often people don't know what they're doing. They don't know where to go because they don't have that vision and that clarity of what it is exactly that they want. And it starts there, just determining, what do you want? Write down specifically what your goals are, but goals are only a piece of that. They're only a piece of the goals, but we need it because Jim Rohn says, don't just let your life happen, design it. And so when we're intentional about the life that we want to create, those goals, then we can help break down those goals into daily actionable items that are going to help us to achieve our goals. Focusing on those areas, having a plan, knowing what we want, and going and getting it. Number 3, lifelong learning. This is probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite, in this top 12. Because we need to be students. We need to be sponges. As soon as you think you know it all, you are lost. We are constantly learning. I love this quote, Jim Rohn. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. In today's world, there is so much free education, self-education that exists in this world. I mean, this podcast, hey, it's free. There's tons of other YouTube videos, podcasts out there that you're able to learn and grow. But we need to be a lifelong learner. We need to adapt this growth mindset in how we're continuing and wanting to learn each and every day. What are we working on? What do we want to get better at? And instead of chasing, these vanity things, if we just focus on, hey, what are the skills that we want to develop? Because if we focus on, hey, what do we want to grow and what do we learn and what do we want to improve? We're going to be able to implement those things and then get the things that we want anyway. So it starts with really figuring out what do we want to learn and adapting that lifelong learning process. Number 4 is discipline. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. What's great about discipline is that it's just like anything else. It's a muscle. And I've heard so many people, sometimes they say things like, Nick, I'm just not disciplined. And it's just like anything else. One, you just can't identify as someone who's not discipline, but also understanding that it's about doing it on a regular basis that actually builds the discipline. I know I talked a lot about like going to the gym in the last episode, if you listen, but when it comes to discipline, it's about showing up. And the gym is always a great example because it's just a matter when you are disciplined at the gym, you can show up and have discipline in other areas. And it's that muscle. If you stay disciplined into not eating that cookie or reading every day, those small daily disciplines compound for long term success. Number 5 is the value of time. Life is short, time is short. That's why I appreciate you here listening, watching this video, because I know that there's a lot of things that you could be doing, listening to, consuming, and so I appreciate that. And I know that your time is the most valuable possession. It's the one thing that we all want. We want more freedom. We want more time in our life. But when you really appreciate that value of time, you will avoid those activities that aren't serving your goals. You will focus solely on what's going to help you achieve what you want to achieve. Be mindful of not wasting time doing things that aren't going to serve your goals in your future because tomorrow is not guaranteed. We don't know what's in store for us. Value that time and other people's time, not just yours. Number 6 is association. One of the most famous quotes from Jim Rohn, also become more popularized by Tony Robbins, and I'm sure many other philosophers and speakers before him. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I remember when I first heard this quote, and I hated it. I didn't want to give up my friends. I didn't want to change who I was seeing and experiencing because I loved and I valued my friends and my family. But this was an absolute game changer for me when I really started surrounding myself with other people that wanted to grow and wanted to improve. And it starts actually with just listening and reading from people that you want to be like or have the things that you want. And so it can be more than just in person, well known people that you know, but you are 100% the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And a quick example of this is I literally went for a run recently with 2 of my friends. And during the run, 1, we're running, so we're being active. But 2, the whole time we were talking about how to make money. We were talking about business. We were talking about, cryptocurrency, all kinds of different things. And I'm just like running and learning. This is my element. But that's what happens when you have great friends, when you have people that are say things like, hey, let's go for a run and let's talk about these types of things because this is just what we think about. This is what we talk about. We're not talking about nonsense or talking about complaining about certain things. We're focused on, hey, what can we do that's going to help us to all succeed? So surrounding yourself with people like that. If you don't have people in your life like this, I really encourage you to start with just finding one person that has a growth mind. And sometimes you need to invest in groups and programs and events to find these people, but it is worth it to find these people that want to grow and thrive. I mean, there's a reason why masterminds are a thing. That's super impactful. If you read the book Think and Grow Rich, right? That's a fundamental aspect. It's a fundamental aspect of my event coming up in September, the Home Care Champions Experience. It's a big aspect of masterminding because we learn more from each other. And yes, I'm bringing in, experts in the industry, but a big part of the event is that collaboration, is that I want you to learn from each other and truly mastermind and learn from each other and create these connections and hopefully create lasting relationships that will, stay for years to come. It happens when you bring together like-minded people and go to events that have these like-minded individuals. Number 7 is work on yourself. This is definitely my favorite Jim Rohn quote. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. There are so many people that complain, and I think one of the biggest ones is people complain about money. And it's like, well, how much do you know about money? Have you spent time learning about money? Do you know how money can work for you? Have you ever read a book about making money? There are a lot of things around money that you can do about finance, stocks, starting a business, managing your own money, planning, using Roth IRAs, all these different things about money. And most people aren't willing to just work on it and try and learn from it. They just complain. We've got to be willing to work on ourselves, work in those areas that we want to grow and improve, and not just say, I'm just not good at this. Figure out what's going to create that success in those areas that you want to do and dive into those areas. Number 8, take responsibility. You are exactly where you are because of the decisions that you made. Look, I know things happen in life that throw curveballs, but it's not about what happens to you, it's how you choose to respond. Regardless of what your past is and what has happened to you, you have to take ownership of it. And yes, some people may be more fortunate than you or other opportunities that came, but you are where you are. And you need to accept that this is where you are and accept your responsibility. You're the only one. You're the one that got you there. You're the only one that can get you out, which is empowering. When you embody that you are solely responsible, you can finally take control of your life. You can take the necessary actions to get the things that you want because you own it. That I am where I am today because of me, not because of anyone else. Own that responsibility. So many people play the victim card and have this victim mentality. Oh, I can't do this because of this. This is how I grew up. This is how my parents, all this other stuff, all these stories. You are responsible for where you are today, and it's up to you to own it and take it to where you want to go. Number 9, service to others. This is a fundamental aspect of my life and just wanting to be of service to others. A recent example of this that has really played a huge role in my life is I started doing these house builds in Mexico, helping local families. And this has been such a fun and cool experience to actually give back with really nothing to gain. I'm not getting paid to be there. There's nothing about it. I'm just showing up with my time to give back. And it's so cool because everyone there is thinking the same thing, volunteering their time. We built a house in a weekend. It's so cool. The organization is called Baja Bound. If you want to learn more, it's a really amazing organization that helps protect these kids that often are growing up on dirt floors, and which leads to sicknesses and often death. And so when we build these houses where they have concrete floors and walls and warmth, literally helping these kids to lead better lives. And then it's connected with this other organization called Baja Education, which is then again spreading this education, which is huge. I mean, I think education, you know, Nelson Mandela says that education is the most powerful weapon which we can use to change the world. And I love that quote, and I completely agree. And that's why I'm creating this podcast and why I share this content, because I think there's nothing more impactful than education and sharing that content and putting it out there. But it comes down to this service of others. How can we be of service to others and not be so focused on ourselves? Because guess what? It ends up bringing more joy into our lives when we serve others than we do trying to serve ourselves. I know I find so much joy in helping others than I do in just trying to help myself. Number 10 is consistency. Showing up in a consistent action is going to help you in every area. We have to be consistent. We can't be flaky. We got to show up in the areas that we want to thrive, in the areas that we want to win. Number 11, health and energy. You control your energy, and so much of your energy is based on what you consume. I mean, the amount of people that eat garbage. People take care of their dogs better than they take care of themselves. I mean, come on. We got to be better. We've only got one life. What you consume, what you put in your body directly shows how you feel. The amount of sleep that you're getting. I mean, all these things, exercising allows you to show up. And the thing is the more time that I spend on myself in these areas like health and energy, the more I'm able to serve others, the more I'm able to help people because I'm able to show up in a different way. I'm able to show up in a more energetic way. I'm able to work harder, work longer because of the way that I've been able to take care of myself. How can you take care of yourself? What are you doing in the health and energy area? What can you do better? And number 12, definitely my personal favorite, is happiness and gratitude. This is the most impactful thing. I actually talked about it in the last episode of just being grateful for the things that you have. Jim Rohn says, learn how to be happy with what you have while you pursue all that you want. And I think this is a great aspect of just understanding that ambition is not the enemy of joy. You can be happy with what you have and still pursue to achieve more. Just because you're like constantly wanting more, and I know that doesn't mean that we're not happy. It's if we have this idea that if I get that, then I'll be happy. That's what hurts us. That's not serving us. But if we can be happy in the present moment while in the pursuit of our goals, which me personally, I find so much joy in that pursuit than actually achieving the goal, that becomes a lasting impact on us. And really just focusing on enjoying the journey, enjoying being present of where we are right now. I hope you found this episode impactful. I know The Art of Exceptional Living is such a phenomenal book. It's such a staple for me, and I highly encourage you to listen to the full book or consume some Jim Rohn content because he's amazing and he's had such an impact on me, as well as Tony Robbins and I'm sure millions of other people. But remember, you don't have to do it alone, and let's grow together.